Most you've ever eaten in one sitting? Was it Thanksgiving dinner, an all-you-can-eat buffet, teenage growth spurt? Let me know in the comments section below, but even if Joey Chestnut is watching this, his appetite is going to look like that of a bird's next to the greatest glutton of all time, known only as Tarrare. Tarrare, no last name, and it wasn't known if Tarrare was a legal name, nickname, or stage name, was born in France sometime around 1772. As a child, he had an enormous appetite, but by the time he was a teenager, his never-ending hunger proved too much for his family's finances, with a young man capable of eating his own weight in meat every single day, which was about 100 pounds, despite his prodigious appetite, and he was forced to move out. Tarrare's appearance was unusual, with a mouth filled with stained teeth that could open up to 4 inches and hold a dozen apples at once, a body that was hot to the touch, an odor that could be smelled from 20 feet away. Supposedly, after eating, he would have a visible vapor rise out of his body. After leaving home, Tarrare found employment as a traveling showman, wowing crowds with his ability to swallow huge quantities of food and various objects, wolfing down baskets of apples one after the other, and even eating rocks. In his 20s, the War of the First Coalition broke out, and Tarrare joined the army. In a shocking turn of events, the rations provided by the military weren't quite enough to satisfy his appetite, so he began to carry out tasks for his fellow soldiers in exchange for their food. When this wasn't enough, he began scavenging, and when that wasn't enough, he was admitted to the hospital for exhaustion. During his stay, he was granted 4 times the normal amount of rations, which still wasn't enough. Wanting to test his appetite, the hospital gave him a meal intended for 15 men, which he promptly devoured and then fell asleep. Any pet owners may want to click away now. As another test of Tarrare's abilities, he was given live animals for meals, once swallowing a whole eel without even chewing. After assessing his capabilities, the army sought to make use of them, taking advantage of his ability to digest inanimate objects by assigning him to be a courier, swallowing wooden boxes containing documents, and then passing them upon arriving at his rendezvous. Despite his incredible talents for eating, Tarrare's commanding officer didn't have much faith in how reliable he was otherwise, so for his first mission, he was given to transport a document that, unbeknownst to him, merely asked if it had been delivered safely. Unfortunately for Tarrare, he was captured by enemy forces, who imprisoned him until he revealed that he had swallowed a note that he believed contained valuable information. When Tarrare passed the box containing the note, only for his captors to find out that it was worthless, he was beaten and then released. In this, Tarrare was admitted back to the hospital, where a variety of attempts were made to cure his insatiable appetite, none of which were successful. He was later kicked out after fighting dogs for food, and even trying to eat bodies from the hospital morgue. At the very least, he wasn't being wasteful. Tarrare would later resurface 4 years later, when he was once again hospitalized. Although he believed this was due to a golden fork he had swallowed 2 years earlier, getting stuck inside of his body, it was actually just late-stage tuberculosis. Sadly, he did pass away soon after, at the age of 26. An autopsy that was performed revealed an abnormally large gullet, liver, gallbladder, and stomach, but no golden fork in sight. Interestingly enough, around 2 centuries later, France would produce something of a successor to Tarrare, a man named Michael Lotito. Similarly to Tarrare, Lotito found fame for his ability to eat and digest things that aren't meant to be eaten, such as bicycles, TVs, and over the course of 2 years, a full airplane, a Cessna 150 to be more specific. Much like his 18th century counterpart, he did use his talent as a performer, consuming over 9 tons of metal over the course of his life and earning a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most unusual diet on the planet. He was given a plaque in honor of his unusual capabilities, which, true to form, he ate.